Sometimes the truth comes from the most unexpected messengers, and sometimes that messenger is your own child. I never thought my 15-year-old daughter would be the one to save my marriage by destroying it. But that's exactly what happened on a Tuesday afternoon that started like any other and ended with my entire world turned upside down. My name is Michael, and I've been married to Lisa for 17 years. We have 2 kids, Amy, who's 15, and Tyler, who's 12. I work as a senior project manager at a construction firm, often pulling long hours and working late to provide for my family. Lisa has been a stay-at-home mom since Amy was born, though she'd been talking about going back to work once Tyler got older. Our marriage had its ups and downs like any other, but I thought we were solid. We had our routine. I'd leave early, work hard, come home tired but fulfilled, knowing I was building something for our family. Lisa took care of the house and kids, managed their schedules, and handled most of the day-to-day family responsibilities. Looking back now, I realize I missed a lot of signs. Lisa had become more secretive with her phone over the past few months. She'd always been somewhat private, but lately she'd take calls in other rooms and her phone was constantly face down on tables. She started going out more with girlfriends, shopping trips that lasted hours, coffee dates that stretched into evening book club meetings that seemed to happen multiple times a week. When I'd ask about her day, her answers became vague. "Oh, you know, the usual stuff," she'd say, waving her hand dismissively. She'd started dressing differently, too, more makeup for casual outings, nicer clothes for simple errands. I convinced myself she was just taking better care of herself, maybe going through some kind of personal renewal. The Tuesday that changed everything started normally. I was at the office reviewing blueprints for a commercial development project when my phone buzzed with a text from Amy. This was unusual. Amy rarely texted me during school hours unless it was an emergency. "Dad, can you come home? I need to show you something important. Don't tell Mom." My heart immediately started racing. Had something happened? Was she hurt? Was Tyler okay? I tried calling her, but she didn't answer. I texted back asking if everything was all right, and she replied with just, "Please come home, it's about Mom." I told my supervisor I had a family emergency and drove home faster than I probably should have. Amy was waiting for me in the living room, her school bag still on her shoulder like she'd just gotten home. Her face was pale and she looked like she'd been crying. "Dad, I don't know how to tell you this," she said, her voice shaking. "But I found something on Mom's phone and I think you need to see it." She pulled out her own phone and showed me a series of screenshots. At first, I didn't understand what I was looking at. Then it hit me like a physical blow to my chest. They were screenshots of dating app profiles, and one of them was my wife. The profile photo was Lisa, but taken recently. I recognized the sweater she'd bought just last month. Her profile name was Free Spirit Lisa, and her age was listed as 38 instead of her actual 42. The bio read, "Recently rediscovering myself, looking for adventure and genuine connection. Of hiking, wine tasting, and deep conversations. Let's see where this goes." But that wasn't the worst part. Amy scrolled through more screenshots showing Lisa's conversations with multiple men. The messages were flirtatious, intimate, and some were clearly planning meetups. One conversation thread was with someone named Kevin, and they were discussing meeting at a hotel downtown the same day Lisa had told me she was going to her book club. "How did you get these?" I asked Amy, my voice barely above a whisper. Amy looked uncomfortable. "Mom left her phone in the kitchen this morning when she went to shower. It kept buzzing with notifications, and I saw these dating app messages popping up on her lock screen. I was shocked, so I used her passcode and took screenshots. I know I shouldn't have, but Dad, I was scared about what this meant." I sat there staring at the evidence, feeling like I was drowning. My 15-year-old daughter had just exposed that my wife of 17 years was living a double life. The woman I'd been working 60-hour weeks to support, the mother of my children, had been actively seeking other men while I was building what I thought was our future. "How long have you known Mom's passcode?" I asked. "She uses Tyler's birthday for everything," Amy said quietly. "Dad, there are so many messages. She's been meeting these guys for coffee, dinners, maybe more. What are we going to do?" I looked at my daughter, this brave, intelligent girl who'd had the courage to confront a situation that most adults would run from. She'd risked her relationship with her mother to protect our family, and now she was looking at me for answers I didn't have. "First," I said, taking a deep breath, "you did the right thing by telling me. This isn't your fault, and you shouldn't have to carry this secret." I spent the next hour looking through all the screenshots Amy had taken. There were dozens of conversations spanning several months. Lisa had been systematic about it, creating elaborate lies about where she was going, coordinating her deception around my work schedule, even using our kids' activities as cover for her meetings. One message thread particularly struck me. A man named Brandon had written, "Your husband sounds like he's never around. Doesn't he suspect anything?" Lisa had responded, "Michael is so focused on work, he barely notices what I'm doing. He thinks providing money is the same as being present. I need someone who actually sees me." Reading that felt like she'd reached through the phone and ripped my heart out. Yes, I worked long hours. Yes, I was focused on building financial security for our family, but I'd never considered that Lisa felt invisible or unappreciated. Instead of talking to me about feeling neglected, she decided to seek attention from strangers online. When Lisa came home that evening, she acted completely normal. She asked about my day, helped Tyler with homework, and made dinner like nothing had happened. Watching her perform this charade while I knew the truth was surreal and nauseating, I waited until both kids were in bed before confronting her. "Lisa, we need to talk," I said, walking into our bedroom where she was getting ready for bed. "What about?" she asked, not looking up from her nighttime routine. I placed Amy's phone on the dresser, open to one of the screenshots. "About Free Spirit Lisa." The change in her expression was immediate and complete. The color drained from her face and she sat down heavily on the bed. "Where did you get that?" she whispered. "Amy found your messages this morning. She's been worried sick all day about how to tell me that her mother is cheating on her father." Lisa started crying immediately, not the gentle tears of remorse but the desperate sobs of someone who'd been caught in an unforgivable act. "Michael, I can explain," she said between sobs. "It's not what it looks like. It looks like you've been meeting multiple men from dating apps while telling me you're at book club," I said, my voice steady despite the storm raging inside me. What other way could I interpret dozens of intimate conversations and planned meetups? She tried several explanations. She said she was just chatting with people and never met anyone in person, contradicted by her own messages discussing specific meetings. She said she was going through a midlife crisis and needed attention, as if betraying our family was therapy. She said she felt lonely and unappreciated, which might have been valid if she'd communicated that to me instead of seeking validation from strangers. Finally, she said, "It didn't mean anything. I never intended for it to go this far." "How far did it go?" I asked. Her silence was my answer. "I slept in the guest room that night, and the next morning I called a divorce attorney. I also made an appointment with a therapist, not to save our marriage, but to help me process what had happened and figure out how to help our kids through what was coming." The hardest part was talking to Amy and Tyler. Amy already knew, of course, but Tyler was blindsided. I tried to explain that sometimes adults make very bad choices that hurt their families, and that their mother and I wouldn't be living together anymore, but that we both still loved them completely. Amy hugged me afterward and said, "I'm sorry I had to be the one to tell you, Dad. Don't ever apologize for being brave enough to do the right thing," I told her. "You protected our family by telling the truth. That took incredible courage." Lisa moved out 2 weeks later. The divorce proceedings were swift. Her attorney advised her not to contest anything given the evidence Amy had provided. I got primary custody of both kids, though they spend every other weekend with Lisa. Amy and Tyler are in family counseling to help them process their parents' divorce. Amy carries some guilt about being the one who exposed her mother, but she's working through it with professional help. Tyler struggles with feeling abandoned by Lisa, but he's slowly adjusting to our new normal. As for me, I'm learning to balance work and family differently. I realized that Lisa's complaint about my absence, while not an excuse for cheating, had some validity. I've adjusted my schedule to be more present for Amy and Tyler. We have dinner together every night now, and I attend all their school events and activities. Lisa and I maintain a cordial relationship for the kids' sake, but trust is something that can never be rebuilt after such a complete betrayal. She's continued seeing someone she met on those dating apps. Apparently her search for genuine connection was successful, just not within our marriage. The most surprising outcome of this whole ordeal has been how much closer Amy and I have become. She showed incredible maturity and moral courage in a situation that would challenge most adults. She's become more protective of Tyler and more responsible around the house, stepping up in ways that break my heart and make me proud simultaneously. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if Amy hadn't found those messages. How long would Lisa's deception have continued? Would I have eventually discovered it on my own, or would I have remained oblivious while she lived her double life indefinitely? But those are questions I don't need answers to anymore. My daughter's bravery gave me the truth I needed to make the right decisions for our family's future. And while the truth was devastating, it was also liberating. Today, Amy, Tyler, and I are building something new together. It's not the family structure I'd planned, but it's honest, and it's built on trust and genuine connection. Sometimes the most painful revelations lead to the most authentic healing. And sometimes, the people we least expect to save us are the ones brave enough to tell us the truth, even when it hurts.